Chairman, fellow professional mates, ladies and gentlemen. As you heard, the topic for the Minerals Commission is advances in mining regulations to drive growth and investment. If we take the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703 was passed in 2006. 13 years on, what have we done? So, to cap it all, after 13 years of the implementation of the Act 703, definitely there will be weaknesses and gaps that would have been identified. So that has culminated in us trying to review the whole Act to meet the dynamic nature of the mining industry. A snapshot of the mining industry in Ghana. Currently, we have over 500 exploration companies at various stages, reconnaissance and prospecting. We have 110 active quarries working. We have 241 mine support service companies, 14 large-scale operating mines, 12 are producing gold, 1 producing manganese, and 1 producing bauxite. Then when you look at the whole scenario for the past 20 years, the total investment in mining stands up to about 19 billion US dollars. That's the foreign direct investment the mining sector has attracted in the past 2 decades. And the minerals that we've been exploiting so far in Ghana are purely the major minerals made of gold, manganese, bauxite, and diamonds. And industrial minerals we've been exploiting include clay, feldspar, limestone, salt, rock aggregates, sand, kaolin, etc. But there again, there are lots of other potential minerals that we are looking at, which most attention hasn't been there, or we are now shifting our attention there. It's made up of the iron ore, the lithium, graphite, columbite, tantalite, which are all technology minerals. Then we have the base metals, also made up of copper, lead, zinc, cobalt, chromium, and the likes. Now, looking at the key issues that have arisen from the existing legal framework that we have in Ghana. They are listed there. You can see the first one is our overdependency on the traditional minerals, gold, that's gold, bauxite, diamond, and manganese. Too much dependency on these traditional minerals. Then you look at the whole mining industry, there's limited value addition to the primary products that we have. There again, this one comes to us at the Minerals Commission. The manual use of registration, that's the mineral administration, is too much becoming manual, which we have to do something about it. The next one is the inefficient use and management of mineral revenues. The next is the social unrest in forest and mining communities, the menace of illegal mining, and last but not the least, the exploitation of women and children in mining communities. In trying to address such issues that are rising as a result of some of the gaps and gaps in the laws that I talked about, Act 703, we've done some degree of work, Mr. Chairman, and I'm going to elaborate some of the things that have been done so far. If you look at government policies with respect to the way forward in advancing the mineral and mining industry in Ghana. In the past 2 years, 2018, we passed the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation Act, Act 976, which brought GEADEC into being. The GEADEC is to ensure the full holistic value chain benefits that Ghana could derive from its bauxite. The same thing was done with iron, where we have the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation Act, also known as Act 988. It's also to promote and develop an integrated iron and steel industry. This, by so doing, the government is trying to get hold of these two minerals that we have with respect to bauxite and iron to use it for our own developmental needs, so that we can use what we can and export what we can use locally. Then there is this Mineral Income Investment Fund Act of 2019, Act 978. The act was purely done to receive mineral royalties and other related income due for government from mining operations, and to manage the equity interest of Ghana in mining companies. So this Mineral Income Investment Fund has been given a mandate. Last not but the least was the one we passed in 2015. That's amendment to the Mineral and Mining Act, Act 900, which Dr. Amponsepo has already talked about, saying we have a minimum of 10,000 penalty units and a maximum of 15,000 penalty units for any offense committed. And it's not that alone. Like our moderator or MC said, that we only give penalty units, we don't give punishment. You could see this one comes with imprisonment ranging from 15 years up to 25 years or both. So it's not as if we're not doing anything. We're putting up the penalties and making sure if you don't do the right thing, you go to jail. Now, the previous slide was to tell you what has been done. Now addressing the issues going forward. Going forward, we're trying to review the Minerals and Mining Act. That's the Bible for the mining industry. Like you heard, this our act was done in 2006. It became the blueprint across Africa. People came to copy it, and they are trying to make it better, just to compete with us. But that notwithstanding, we are still floating above the threshold. So what we're trying to do with the review of the Mineral and Mining Act is to look at, first, the diversification of our mineral base. Like Dr. Amponsa said previously, our over-reliance on gold and some other minerals is too far overwhelming. We have to do something about it. So we're looking at the diversification of mineral base, where we are going to encourage joint ventureship and public-private partnership initiatives to enhance geological data acquisition and management. So this is coming handy. It's not just government with the private sector. Then again, we're going to categorize our minerals into what we're going to call strategic and non-strategic minerals. The definition, we're going to give it to you later. Again, Dr. Amponsa said something which I have to re-echo it here, that we have to incentivize exploration, which we are already looking at. We're trying to incentivize exploration, not just by removing the VAT from exploration. The VAT on exploration, we are working on it, and very soon something positive is going to come out. But we're going further to incentivize exploration by trying to inculcate the spirit of pushing companies beyond the normal, just trying to analyze for gold, but pushing them to do that multi-element analysis to know what is there apart from gold, or what is there apart from just that pathfinder minerals that you're looking for. Perhaps there are other things that can also be equally economically viable for our nation, which we are not looking at. So that's what we're going to tackle, going to make sure companies go into multi-element analysis, look up for other things that previously we were not looking at. Then again, we're going to ensure compulsory beneficiation of our minerals in Ghana. And that will require that a certain percentage, especially with our minerals like gold, are being refined in Ghana to supply the jewelry industry downstream. Again, we're going to adopt international certification for our down and side stream mineral industries. Like I said, we're further going to ensure that we establish local refineries and smelters and to assess refined products. We talk about Ghana being the hub of gold, yet you go to a place like Dubai, they don't produce gold, but they have a place they call the gold souk. How come a country that doesn't produce gold has a gold souk? In a country like Ghana, with all the gold we produce, we don't have a gold souk. Gold souk means just gold market. So we're going to make sure we put up something of that nature where you're going to see gold from the refinery and smelters being given to jewelers who also produce different type of jewelry for the downstream industry, to show that, yes, we produce gold and anybody who comes to Ghana can get anything that he wants in gold. Then again, there is this government participation in mining. We're looking at government not just relying on the government preemption right under the Section 43 of the Act 703. You know, government is entitled to some 10% in every mine. But unfortunately, it is only when the companies declare profits that they declare dividends to government, which is not good to government in some sense. So we are trying to, out of our review, trying to propose that we should have some degree of annual guaranteed payments to government, because government actually needs that revenue to do a lot of things. Addressing the issue still going forward. On the review of our Mineral and Mining Act, we're looking at community development agreement. Now we have community development agreements. Every company has some degree of community development agreement with the communities within which they work. But we're going to make it obligatory now so that we'd have a kind of obligatory corporate social responsibility document for every company operating in Ghana. Then with the stability and development agreement, like Dr. Ponsa said, we're thinking of revising the stability period of the 15 years. Then again, we want to ensure that we have a standard stability agreement for all mining companies. We want to stop that case by case mining stability agreement we do with mining companies. Then again, we're thinking of removing totally and completely the development agreement from our statutory. Then another point is to ban mercury use in our gold processing. Ghana is a signatory to the Minamata Convention, and we're trying to make it a law locally to ban the use of mercury totally. With our database, like I was told just now, if you want to get information on Ghana, the mineral concession maps, database on some work that has been done previously in some areas in Ghana, it doesn't come handy. I'm assuring each and every one, investor, student, local participant, professional bodies, consultants, that the first phase, our mineral administration, has been completed. Now we are on the second phase. The second phase will be completed very soon. And when we are done with that, it will be easy for everyone to access our mineral database from wherever you are. and ask some simple questions that you want to know, and you get the answers there. But it's only when it comes to detailed questions that maybe you need to do consultation. And this mineral cadastral administration is to improve access to information for investors wherever you are on the globe, and to increase transparency in the mineral rights administration, and to ensure that whatever monies or revenue that is due for government is also tracked and known, so that it wouldn't be as if somebody is trying to cut corners with government revenues. Then again, there are some additional strategies that we're putting in place. The first amongst them is the decentralization of the Minerals Commission. Some may say they don't know Minerals Commission in most parts of Ghana. It's true. So now we're trying to increase our footprints. We're having one regional office in Tamale, 4 new district offices to be added to the existing 9, and we're going to have 8 more satellite offices. This is to increase our footprints in various mining towns where people think we do not exist, or people think it's far away from Accra. Then there will be recruitment of technical staff to beef up what we have presently with the Minerals Commission. And we have procured way bridges to monitor mineral export. If you heard in the past people saying the minerals, that's bauxite and manganese, are being exported without us knowing the actual quantities. So now we've procured way bridges that do this measurement on the mine, and there's one on the way before you get to Takrady at Pimenim, which is under construction actually. Then there is the application of technology in monitoring and inspection. We are applying all the necessary technologies to help us in our work. So for instance, we have a technical laboratory in Takrady which we are refurbishing. Then we have another strategy where we call the Alternative Livelihood Program. The Alternative Livelihood Program is to put to use all mining areas and mining communities which have been mined out. So when these areas are being reclaimed, we put it to use by planting palm trees for the benefit of the communities. We've done it in Dunka and Ofin, and we're replicating the same thing in New Abrim and Chibi currently. Additional strategies to come to what Dr. raised previously is formulating local content legislative instrument to promote linkages to other sectors of the economy. We said that it's not just about the companies registered locally. No. The 29 list that we have for those who are rendering services to the mining companies, they are supposed to be purely owned by Ghanaians. So previously we had companies like Total, Petroleum supplying the mining companies. Now if you look at from those who are very versatile, conversant with the mine, you see Zen, supplying these companies. Zen is totally owned by Ghanaians. So we are now taking some of these things and giving it back to Ghanaians. So this law that the local content law that we're trying to put is to link the mining sector to other sectors of the economy. Like we said, steel balls. How can we link steel balls? We need people who can produce steel balls to supply the mining company. We need people who can do bolts and nuts. We need people who can do a lot of things. And not just people who just import those things. We want people to be in this country and to produce them locally. So that's how come we're formulating this local content law. And it is to ensure local employment opportunities, in-country spending and procurement of local goods and services. It's also to ensure technology and skill transfer, and to the last extent, make sure there is value addition and local participation across the whole value chain. So a lot of strategies have been put. Some have been implemented, some are yet to be implemented, some are ongoing to advance the cause of mining in the country. And still, we have the stakeholder consultations ongoing towards the review of the Mineral and Mining Act. That was what I was just telling Professor Afam. Yes, we still need some inputs. The door is still open, especially from the academia. So in conclusion, Mr. Moderator, I'm done. Minerals Commission is doing as much as it can in the advancement of the mining sector regulation to drive growth and investment. And all these advances are to ensure a win-win situation where the investor and the government will all share in the benefit of mining without complaint. So at this juncture, I'll say thank you for your attention.